Another way out of this hole, another way out of this hell. When you're trying so hard to hold on, trying so hard to be well. There was a voice in your head said, hold on, there might be an easier way. There's a chance that you might beat the swell, a chance that you might beat the wave.
So you've got a story that you wanted to tell me that we didn't get a chance to talk about the other day, and I think it's really important that you kind of break it down.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing, you know, when we talk about the ripple effect and stuff, and you know, you don't really notice these things until it's sort of put into your head, and that's what it is. You know, last year in October, myself and a couple of friends, we walked from the Gold Coast down to Sydney.
How far is that?
That's 916 kilometres. So that's 60 kilometres a day, which is about 37 miles a day for 15 days. And that was it was about 10 to 12 hours a day walking. You know, so it's a heavy slog. You know, it's heavy going. But you know, it was doing what we're doing now. Is getting out and meeting people, and you know, and just hearing people's stories and everything like that. And it made things so easy for us because we were getting to meet these amazing people. You know, and then one day we're about halfway through, and one of the guys got a phone call. It was through the Maritime Union of Australia that he's a member of, and they said one of their members had rung up and said, "Look, guys, I just want to let you know, can you pass on a message? I've been following the guys on social media." He said he was at home, he'd cleared everything he had to clear, done everything he'd had to done, and he'd made his plans and he was sticking to it, and he was going to end his life. And he said he jumped on social media and actually saw us, what we're doing, looked into it a bit more and heard our message and everything, and decided he wasn't going to do it. He'd gone and got himself help, and he was ringing up and just saying, like, I want to let the guys know it's work. You know, what they're doing is working for us. We could have hung our shoes up then.
You could have you could have walked home.
That's it, and that's that ripple going out. What we were doing, one thing little, but affected that person. He's going to go home and tell these other people. You know, he'll sit there and tell people what had changed his life. And hopefully they changed that, and that changed that, and hopefully that happened along the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was magic. It was magic here and there. And it made all the hard work. You know, it was 2 years planning that war, and a lot of hard work. A lot of us leaving our families for that time and stuff. And it just made every little step worth it.
It made it worth it, and it made you realize how your ripple has an impact. Now, I'm guessing that young man had a family.
Oh yeah, I don't know. We don't know.
Who knows? But let's say this: he's probably got people that care for him.
Yeah, definitely.
People that love him that he wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
And he chose to stay after hearing a message of hope and light.
That's it.
And he said, "I can do this."
That's it. And it doesn't. It's that one little thing that doesn't have to be this grand gesture. It can be one little thing, just sparks that bit of hope in someone and changes their life. No, and it doesn't. You don't have to affect someone in a big way. It can be a small way. But it could change their life in a big way, you know?
It's a catalyst to change.
That's it.
It's a catalyst. If we can all be that catalyst for one person, 2 people, 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, thousands of people in our lifetime, if we stick to this, the ripple effect will go on forever, because what you realize is you're having a ripple effect on his life. Maybe he has a kid sometime down the line. That child would not have existed without him choosing life. Without him recognizing from your message, I can choose life. Then the kid grows up, and the kid has kids.
He might tell that story long.
And the kid tells that story to a young man who he grows up with in high school, who turns 16 and has suicidal thoughts.
That's right.
And the ripple effect just goes on.
Keeps going and going.
But just as that ripple effect goes on, so does the ripple effect of a death by suicide.
Now, we stopped in Grafton, a town northwestern New South Wales. Over the last year, they've lost 12 teenagers to suicide in this one, and a small community. You know, and it's they don't want to use the term, but it's like an epidemic up there. You know, and they're rattled. They don't know how to deal with it. And and talking and stuff. The night we talked at one sporting club, half the people didn't turn up because they're turning the life support off on another kid that night. You know, and it was heartbreaking being there. You know, and I was trying to say to these people, I'm only a guy stepping in town for a week. I can't give you the answers. You've got to go and educate yourself. What I can tell you is you've got to look at your perspective on it. 100%. You know, that's the main reason. Well, one of the main reasons why I started doing what I've done. You know, I lost a lot of friends over the years. I almost wasn't sitting here a lot of times. You know, and it's different things and different people that affected me along the way that kept me here. And it's two very good friends of mine that I lost that inspired me to get my bum out of the chair and do whatever I can. You know, I heard it a long time ago, and it's something I stand by, is to change the world, you've got to change yourself. You know, and you can't change the world without changing yourself. So, and that's why, you know, everyone you speak to, they've had someone that's changed their life, and it's what you do. It's grabbing that opportunity by the horns.
Each member of Team Ripple World, especially each member of Team Ripple Australia, has had that transformative moment in their lives. And whether it's one moment or 10 or 20, it's a transformative area of their lives that has led them to say, you know, this ain't about me.
Yeah.
It ain't about me. It's about going out there to the people of Australia, to the people of America, to the people around the world, and saying, you can stay alive, and here's some ideas on how you get there. Here's some ideas on how you live, and you choose life every day, even in that desperate pain.
Yeah, and I think it's perfect. You know, it's one of the most impactful things with the crew we've got in Australia here, is we're all so different. We all come from so many different backgrounds, and you know, even just to see me and Joe together, you know, or even me and Loz together, or me and Pat, or Pat and Loz, and you know, and Steph. Everyone's so diverse, but everyone, as you said, has got that one or two moments, and it's that light bulb moment where it's things are changing.
Our stories are vastly different, yet they are the same.
And interconnected.
Interconnected. I think that's what gets people going about when we go and speak, or when Sam Webb goes and speaks, is that it's not about us, it's about your story.
Yep.
When you look at an audience of 1,000 teens who are in high school who haven't fully developed their brains yet, and they're struggling, and they don't know how to express themselves, and you tell a story of how you didn't know how to express yourselves, immediate connection.
Yep.
And then 100 kids come down off those bleachers to shake your hand, to say hello, and most importantly to say thank you.
Yep.
But you didn't do anything except tell the truth.
That's right.
And when you tell your truth, what happens? Other people tell theirs.
People can see the truth in it as well.
Yeah.
You know, I can't sit in a classroom or a lecture hall or something and listen to someone rattle off stats and figures and numbers. It doesn't sink into me. Some people it might, and some people it might work. What works for me is hearing someone's story, you know. Sam getting up and telling his story, Joe telling his story, you telling your story. That sinks into me. You can walk away with a pamphlet of stats and numbers, and it's great. You need to get that information across. It's good to have it. But it's that story. It's hearing people's real life story, you know. It's what we've done with the treadmill run and stuff, is bring real people in, you know, and it's having communities come together and talk about it, you know. We like to bring along a lot of sports stars and TV personalities and getting them to tell their story, because people look up to them, you know, and especially kids looking up to sports stars, hearing these big tough footballers and stuff talk about times in their life when they were struggling and they were down, and then they got past it and they built themselves up to where they are. Lets kids know that they can do it. You know, it gives them that hope.
Yeah.
You know, that people that they look up to can have these times, well, so can they. People that they look up to can get through those times, well, so can they. You know, that has the impact on them. And then they'll go back to school that next day, tell their mates, what about I met so-and-so, and this is what he was telling me. And that might stay with that kid, and then he tells someone at home.
You know, I had a message today from a foreign reporter that says, how can you prove that your message that hope helps heal? And I immediately thought of when I was presenting to Camp Lejeune, United States Marine Corps base, one of the largest Marine Corps bases in America, to 10,000 Marines in 2 days. And I'm up there and I'm thinking to myself, who is this helping? What am I doing? You know, those self-doubts that come in, right? And this young man, Lance Corporal, in 4 or 5 years, comes up, removes his Lance Corporal chevron, his rank pin, places it on my lapel, and says, I was going to kill myself today. I wasn't going to come to your presentation. Yet here I stand, will you walk me to my CO, commanding officer, and help me get help? I walked him to his CO. I said to the commanding officer, look, you can choose to ignore this. You can choose to reprimand this young man, but he desperately needs your help right now, and he needs to stay. And he's just told me, and I referred with him that he said he's going to die, but he is going to live, and he needs your help to stay alive. And the commanding officer said, no problem, it's set. And he took the young man, and that young man is alive and well today. And it's not because of me. It's because the power of stories of hope have the ability to transform lives and help them, themselves, choose life. It's magical.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it doesn't stop with me. Every one of these advocates we have in this film, or in this show, Hope the Ripple Effect Australia, or Hope the Ripple Effect America, Hope the Ripple Effect World, Team Ripple World, Team Ripple Australia, they are all, it's not unique. All of us who can tell our stories well, when we can speak up, speak well, and speak often, we can have that transformative effect with our words. They're studying the science behind storytelling. And what they're finding is that when I tell you a story and you're that kid in that audience, you don't just hear me. As I'm telling that story, you live it with me. There are transmitters in your brain that go firing off that make you feel the ability, even if you've never had it in your life before, the ability to empathize. A light goes off in your brain, literally like a neuron transmitter goes off in your brain and says, hey, listen, here, walk this path, put yourself in his or her shoes. And they go, oh man, I can do this.
It seems crazy to me because every major sports team in the world has someone come in and give a motivational talk. No one questions it. No one questions that works. Every big business in the world has people come in and have these big talks. Nobody questions it. Why would they question that a talk on hope and healing and building yourself up and having courage for yourself? Why would they question that works?
Fear. You say the word suicide and someone will die, which is a myth. It's a complete myth.
Complete myth.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe I'm just hopeful, but I see the tide turning.
Yeah.
I see the tide turning, and I think it's because people are speaking up now. People, the message is getting out. You know, and hopefully, you know, I've said it along the way, and I've said it to heaps of people. We're in the job of putting ourselves out of a job. I'm doing this in the hope that when my kids are my age, there's no need for this, because there's a need for it now.
Yeah, massive.
And it's getting worse. But I'm hoping that the tide's turn.
They have to. They have to turn. We can, we will, we must do this work.
That's right.
I was at the Zero Suicide Summit. That's partially why I'm here in Australia this time. The Zero Suicide International Declaration for Local Change and Local Action. And the idea there that people can debate and babble on and battle with, well, we're never going to reach zero. Why not? What is an acceptable number?
0.
Right. That's the only one.
Yeah.
So whether we get that number, or whether we get it just in healthcare, whether we get it in certain organizations, in sports teams, at hospitals, in schools, we must strive to achieve it, or else we will never know.
Yeah. So I look at it, and for people, because people are so blinded by this and so shut out from it for so long, you've got to use a reference point for them, for people, something to compare it to. So I always say, you know, you look at things like cancer and HIV and AIDS and stuff 15, 20 years ago. It wasn't talked about. It was hidden. But now it's open, and it enables people to go and get help, and to people to get early screening and get checks and stuff. And we've got to look at this the same way. You know, mental health, it's a disease. It's just like all these other things. You know, it's like diabetes. You know, people live with diabetes. You never hear someone say they battle with diabetes. Try and lose that term. You know, we've gotten rid of the word commit. You know, I want to see the word battle gone as well, because it doesn't have to be a battle. It might be a fight. So what? You know.
So are a lot of other things.
That's it. That's it. But there's a big difference between a fight and a battle.
That's right.
You know, but it's just that term again. That term again just puts an automatic thought into someone's head. It's a battle mental illness, a battle depression, or a battle anxiety. well, don't battle it. You know, it's live with it.
Live with
you
it.
know? Live as
And
best
live
you can
well with it. Yeah.
And learn how to best live with it. Learn how to manage it. You know, learn what suits you and what helps you to live with it. You know, whether it be exercise, whether it be reading. You know, it's not drinking drugs because that only masks. You think that's helping it. You know, I've been there. I was a heavy self-medicator. But everyone's got their own thing, you know. Whether it's, you might be punching a boxing bag, you know. Might be lifting weights, might be cycling, might be surfing. Why do we battle mental illness? You know, why? It's that way of looking at it. I don't sit here every day and say I battle mental illness. I live with it.
You live with it.
I live with it, but I know how to live with it. It's like someone with diabetes knows they've got to change their diet, their lifestyle. They might have to take a shot every day. I've got to wake up and I take a couple of pills and I change my lifestyle to live with it. I live with it the best I can. Just like any other disease, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, so what? But it's no longer a battle, and that's what we've got to change people's perspective on it.
Agreed, 100% agreed. And I'm going to take what you just said and change my own personal language, because I say battle.
Yep.
And you know what, I'm not going to pretend I don't.
Okay. That's my own little campaign. I want to get that out of people's heads.
That language is crucially important.
Yeah.
You live with diabetes, you can live with depression.
That's right.
But I'll tell you, there are people out there dying by suicide via depression, right?
Of course.
They're dying they would die like they would die from any other disease.
Yeah.
Liver, heart, lung, kidney, cancer of any organ, they're dying from those diseases. That's how people are dying of suicide. They're not committing a crime. No. They're not committing adultery. It's not a crime. Let's take that language away from it and say, yes, we live with it, and maybe we fight it, and that's okay. Because we're gonna get to the other side.
I got asked the question by a lady last week, and it stuck with me. And it wasn't a question for me to answer, but we were having a chat, and she said, do people take their life by suicide because they want to die or because they want to end the pain?
I would say because they want to end the pain.
They want to end the pain.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Let me make it crystal clear. I never wanted to die. I never once wanted to die. I believed I had to because of that pain, because of the voices.
And that's that perspective thing that I try and ram into people.
Hammer home, yeah.
Because it's look at it a different way. Okay, do you want to get rid of the pain? There's certain ways you can try, and it's hard. It's not easy. I've had to change my life a hell of a lot. But what's harder? What's harder for my family, my wife, and my kids?
Yeah.
And that's how I've had to look at it. And that's how I try and show people they've got to look at it. Mental or physical or what? Emotional?
Or both.
Or both, or all of it.
Or all of the above.
Yeah. I had a discussion at home the other day with, a few things going on. I said, our problems are just as bad to us as what someone's problem are to them. I said, you can't compare. Someone's major problem might be, and you think, oh, well, mine's only small comparatively. Well, if it's big to us, it's big to us. And that's how you got to look at it, and face it like that. Yeah. You can't just bow your head down and say, oh, well, it's only small, because that can multiply and ends up consuming you.
It will consume you, unless you address it and work with it to not just survive the pain, but thrive. Yeah. Right on, brother. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Welcome to my part of the ball.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll get you all on boards next time.
No doubt. Oh, I don't know about that.